At Red Oak Strategic, we're proud builders. We've always been builders. We've always loved to roll our own solution to a problem. That comes from kind of our culture and our nature as programmers and engineers, and it's continued to this day. And it impacts the work that we have internally. The software systems that we use are mostly stuff that we built ourselves or built our connections for. And when it comes to actually working with our customers, oftentimes we're also influenced towards build. We're looking for teams that have a great idea about what they specifically want. They see themselves as having something special, some sort of spark that they want to carry on into the way that their systems work. And they're not happy with the SaaS tools, whether it's for their databases, which are usually too expensive and constrained, whether it's their SaaS platforms for marketing or for HR, which really want to own your data instead of letting you carry that ownership and have control. They're not happy with their dashboarding systems, which are a little bit routine and hard to maintain. Maybe they have had the same feature request into these services for a year and a half and haven't gotten a response. They're looking to be builders, and they have some expertise internally. So we're looking for customers that are looking to build, and we believe that the balance between build versus buy has never been more favored towards the builders. With the way that you can use AI and AI agents to augment your pace of production, we can offer 1 day to an MVP. We can have our pre-built 5x5, 5 days for having your tool up and running in Amazon Quick, and we can turn around some production agentic experiences in just a couple of months. And I think this really helps unlock some of those dream applications that companies never thought they would be able to basically fund or make time for. It's now super possible, and we're happy at Red Oak to be one of the companies that helps make those things reality.
One of the most exciting parts of things about where we are with AI right now is that even non-technical users can become builders, I think. And so a tool like Kiro or any of the other agentic coding tools, you might come up with an idea over the weekend and be able to actually build a MVP yourself. Now, the difference, I think, with a lot of our customers is taking that MVP and then putting it into production. And of course, there's a big leap sometimes from something that you could build in a day or two to actually making it secure, scalable, production ready, and connecting to live data to make sure. We've all read the horror stories of, different AI pilot projects and fun projects that have deleted your whole inbox or caused issues. So a lot of times customers, they come to us and say, hey, I've got this cool idea. I built this little pilot, built this little app or what have you. And then it's our job to take that to production and say, okay, great, this is a great idea. We can run our 5x5 on this. We can run our review and see if it will actually make sense. But then how do we actually take it and turn it into a scalable production app and make sure it's ready to deploy to whatever environment that the customer wants us to push it to.
Yeah, these agentic coders, or the old, what they call the vibe code, or what's now becoming spec-driven development, has created a new brand of customer that we get to meet. I call them visionaries, and they are these less technical users. Maybe they don't come from traditional tech, who can show us an app that they built in a weekend, or some of them have spent months kind of pruning and fine-tuning what's getting close to their full vision. And oftentimes we do have to come in as experts and very respectfully knock down a couple of things that need some really serious work behind the scenes to make sure that it's safe and secure and ready to scale. But oftentimes it unlocks this really exciting phase of you can actually go and build together. You can build quickly, you can build more visually than we used to, and I think it changes the game. So we're always looking for partners who see themselves as visionaries and have that idea, and they want to help make it a reality. So that's our goal. That's what we enjoy the most.
There are always cases where, and we've had them happen, where customers want a very specific vision for something, and it might make sense for them to go and buy an off-the-shelf tool that does that, or continue using a tool that already does that, ERP system, whatever it is. And the key thing that I think we've always recommended is, well, let's make sure we can get your data out of that system and use it for other purposes, integrate it with other tools, and actually make it a value to the business, so that things aren't just locked up in that system. That system may do what it does, very well, and do those things, the tasks that it's designed to do very well. But we just need to make sure that it's flexible enough so that we can use the data for AI tools, other purposes, and provide extra value to the business.
Yeah, data has new forms of value, and it continues to be the most tangible piece of basically IP and long-term potential that these companies have. And if you've given all of that data away to a SaaS tool that you can't retain that ownership of, or that you've contracted out the right for them to then go and make money off of your own data, is something that you want to avoid modern day. And I think that that's one piece that's also kind of tilting everything in the builder's favor. The only two theses, just to wrap this up, that would say is we really appreciate the time that it takes to rebuild systems, even with all of these AI tools. If you have an existing tool in place that provides you value, have a long-term steady contract for, we're not looking to blow things up just to blow them up. I think there's a lot of opportunities to come in and say, hey, you've got 6 or 7 tools. Which of them are working really well for you and which ones aren't? We'll keep the 3 that are efficient and help you retain your data ownership that your team is really used to using, and we'll build from there. We're service agnostic, but we still have that lean towards build, and I think the idea of existing service is a common one. In addition to those existing SaaS products that are working really well for you, we also really prefer to use managed security platform services in addition to our own security work, just to make sure that you have a variety of different partners and services that are helping protect your data in a really serious way. So those are the 2 caveats I would add to that build first philosophy that we think helps understand that we're really pragmatic as engineers.